Hey everyone, and welcome back to a 0 degrees Court Farms. So we are now into December and it's currently 0 degrees. We've got a high of 5 and a low of -5 for this month. It's going to be pretty chilly, although I know to some places that's probably still rather warm. So yeah, we're now into December and we've got a bit of forestry I want to do. So I've got a plan to do a bit of winter forestry work. We've got our first pallet of honey now underway. So from our bees we put in at the end of the last episode. And we've also got the wool production is now going. Although I've come down the wrong way. I've noticed actually there's not really a fence there. The sheep may be able to get through these trees and escape. So yeah, the sheep are doing okay. I've put 2 hay bales in the feed trough, so that should keep them going for a while. Their health is going up. Oh, it's up to 100% now. And their reproduction rate is up to 20%. So another 4 months before we get the first offspring. But we have also got our first pallet of wool as well. So 387 litres of wool. So wool production is underway. I think generally the best price for wool is around about March. So come March we may have a couple of pallets at least to sell. Chickens are still producing their eggs, although they're still very slow. We've got 952 pieces in there. I have topped up their feed this morning, I think. Did I? Yeah. I did buy a bucket as well. So I bought a bucket somewhere. Yeah, so I bought a bristle and lard bucket just so we can use that to top up the chickens rather than me having to use the big trailer. And one other job I've done as well in between episodes, if we go down to our grass field. So I cut both grass fields again in November. After I finished recording for more silage bales. I just wanted to get one final cut as the grass was ready to harvest before we went into December. So we got 65 bales off both fields, so not as much as we did off the first cut on the one field where we got 39 silage bales just off that one field. I'll just show you the difference because it wasn't fully grown. If you now have a look, we've got, although I don't know why the pH is showing in yellow, it should be green for perfect on the bottom left, right hand corner. So I've put some, after I cut the grass, I put lime on to get the pH levels correct. And then I actually re-sown both the grass fields with the direct drill. Main reason for that was to get the tillage rating up on the environmental score. So if we go to precision farming, I think I've accidentally got colorblind mode on. Don't know how that's activated. Yeah. I must have gone to turn the interactive zone markers off or on. Accidentally put colorblind mode on instead. Now that'll explain why the colors are wrong. Yeah, if we go to the environmental score, so we are up to 75 now overall with a 8% increase now to our sell prices. The main reason for that is basically just reseeding the grass fields with a direct drill. So we're up to 84 on that one. So you can see the soil tillage on that is now full. The only thing that we're missing is weed control, which we can't do because we don't have weeds growing in grass fields. This one, the pH is still showing a little bit low on this one. Again, but the tillage, nitrogen, everything's up. So we're up to 80 on that one. So I think 80 or 80 above for fields is a reasonable score. So we don't need to worry about trying to get those up to any higher than that really. We do have this area of land as well where the farmland is. Which is this farmland 49, which doesn't actually contain a field. But that is bringing our score down. I think actually that little patch there may be classed as a field. Where the garden is just at the back of the Land Rover. But yeah, we've got a score of 69. So I'm thinking next year we may plough up this area of this grassland because we can't cut that grass. We won't get any grass from it. And at the moment, it's quite a large area that we could probably utilise next year for an extra field. Although I do have a slight plan for a small area of it. Building wise, you're a bit restricted because the reset point is somewhere around here. And you can't build within the reset point. But we may be able to utilise that as a field until we can get some more land and make some use of that space and help get that environmental score up on that section of land as well. So the first job we're going to do today is to load up the 14 straw bales we've got, and then we'll get those sold, and then we're going to buy an small area of forest and do some winter forestry work. So yeah, let's get these straw bales loaded up and we can get them over to the sell point. Okay, so that's 12 bales on the trailer, I should say. We've got 14 in total. We'll take the last two on the front of the fork. It's going to be a bit too much of a squeeze to get these on the trailer as well. We'll get the trailer hooked up. We'll get the straps on as well. Don't want to lose any bales on the way. Should do. I'll get this hooked up and get the pipes on. All the electric cables hooked up as well. That's not working. There we go. And we'll get these over to the sell point and get them sold, and then we'll head up to the store. Actually, I'll probably bring the trailer back first and then head up to the store. Hello doggy, where are you going? Left, right? Want to run the dog over? Yeah, I'll bring the trailer back and then head up to the store to lease the forestry equipment. Well, I think we should get around about 15,000 for the bale, so it should take us up to that 245,000, I think. There's the first two, so it was around about 2,000 for the first two bales. Yeah, 15. Thought I was right the first time, around about 15,000. So it's 245. So that's the straw sold. I say I'm gonna take this trailer back because we don't need it. Or actually, just think it might be worth keeping. Yeah, actually, we'll take this to the store because we may use this because we can put the logging configuration on this trailer as well, so we may use it to put some logs on to take over to the sawmill if we've got some offcuts. Okay, so we're down at the store and we'll get our forestry equipment we're going to be using leased. I've got the trailer over at the forestry area already, so we want to go to, actually we'll check the used equipment sales because I haven't checked this yet, just in case. You never know, that might be a little bit too big for our JCB. It's only 160 horsepower. We do need a plough. Nice Massey Ferguson MF7S. Skid steer would be useful. I don't really think we need one just yet. And I think I was going to get a skid steer. I'll probably get a telly truck, the JCB telly skid instead. We've got more reach on it. Class action would be nice. 102,000. We could actually afford that. What's the base configuration? 235 horsepower. That would be a nice big tractor to have, but don't really want to be spending 100,000 on another tractor at the moment. Let's go to forestry equipment. So we can get the forestry module for our trailer that puts the poles up if we need it. I'm not going to get that yet. I'm not sure if we will need it or not. I will lease one of these though. Just so we can move some of the heavier logs around. I've put this in from black sheep modding, so after we may look at using this to replant a few trees. But the main thing I want to get and try out is the firewood processor from Kenny456. I do need to put the sell point down. So we're going to lease this and have a go at doing some firewood. There's 2,295 initial lease costs and then an extra 945 per hour. The work day is obviously not an issue because we'll be returning it. So yeah, we'll do want to lease that. And I don't think there's anything else. Oh, chainsaw. We don't actually own a chainsaw at the moment. So let's get a steel. Now we can actually cut some trees down. So what's that? 1,000 for the chainsaw and then 2,455 for the leasing cost, which isn't too bad. So hopefully we can make that money back. Well, selling the straw bales has covered that. It's just whether we can make some money back from the purchase of the land. Okay, so this is the area of forest we're going to be buying just here on the right, which is going to be probably a bit tricky to get into as this firewood process is quite long. We just open the gate. Might be better reversing in. I've got our trailer over so we can load the firewood into. The trouble as well, I find it doesn't turn very sharp. So if we try and reverse in instead. But yeah, didn't really do that very well. Let's have another attempt. Definitely think it'd be very tricky to get a semi-truck and log trailer in here. Definitely one where you need smaller equipment. There we go, we are in. That impatient driver there pumping his horn at me. So if we get this set up somewhere that looks open and flat, which I think here looks reasonable. We don't need to keep the tractor connected as the processor has its own motor and hydraulic system, so we'll get that dropped down. It's disconnected. Get the beacons off. And we'll get the trailer under the conveyor. We swing, that should be okay there. Get that disconnected again. And what we need to do now is get a few trees cut down. Get them brought over to the firewood processor so we can then start getting them split. So we'll go with this one first, and I think if we keep them about 180, so that'll be 270. Oh yeah, I've completely forgot we need to actually buy the land first. Right, so we're going to farmland. We're trying to cut tree we don't own. So yeah, farmland 25, or it's 78,144. So a little bit more than I'd like to pay. There is a cheap one there, but I think most of that is deciduous trees, which I don't really like processing. So we'll purchase that for 78,144. So now I should be able to cut this tree. There we go. So if I do that 270 again. So if you're not aware of that, a good way to keep the trees going in all the same direction when you cut them is use the degrees of rotation on the minima. So currently that's set to 270. So if I always face exactly 270 degrees and then cut the trees to the left, they'll all pretty much fall parallel with each other. It just helps when you're just randomly cutting trees and end up all crisscrossing each other, and it can be a pain to load them up. So I'll get this one delimbed, although I think it may have gone through the boundary. I might not be able to cut the top off. I might need to drag that back. And we'll get this cut into 6 meters. So if we go help menu open, I've got the lumberjack mod so we can actually see now. So the 0.0 at that point is to the left of the chainsaw, and as I move along that goes up, so I'll get that to 6. And we'll cut there. So that's now showing me the length. 6 meters to the left of the chainsaw, and then 18.9 meters is to the right of the chainsaw at that point. And then we'll just keep working our way at 6 meters. Right, I might need to drag that end a bit back into our land to cut any more up. But we can now get this log. Why am I oh, it's one of those tractors with the oh no, I haven't connected the hoses. I keep forgetting on these hoses. There we go. Now we can use the hydraulics on the actual log grab. So if we drop this off here, you don't need to be right onto the carrier, it will automatically load it. Well, we need to make sure we're not too close to the front. So if we drop that one off there, and we'll bring this one over as well. So we'll get a few 6 meters cut up and piled up here, and we can hopefully try and get a good trailer load. It does have a minimum diameter it will actually split as well. So some of the end pieces we'll probably have to just load up onto the trailer and take up to the sawmill. So we may get one more piece we can do with the split logs, and I think that end piece will load up separately. So we'll get this one cut to 6. Yeah, and I think that end bit there will put on the Johnston trailer if we get enough worth loading up to take to the sawmill and just sell as lumber. If we drop that one down as well, a little bit closer. Now if we jump into the firewood processor and get the engine started on this. Get that conveyor load down a little bit. Now if we press O on the keyboard, it should automatically load the first log. That one log's rolled as it lifted the carrier up, just rolled under the carrier, which is a bit annoying. So what you need to do now is press Z on the keyboard to feed the log forward to the stop. And we press B to cut that one. And then press V, which will split it. Now if we press U as well to turn the conveyor on, we'll take the split logs up into our trailer. There we go. So it's just a case now of Z to feed the log through, B to cut it, B to split it, and then let's keep repeating that process until we've got through this log. Let's get rid of that out of the way. Okay, so I think I made a mistake trying to fill this trailer, as it's completely bringing my FPS down. This trailer may be a little bit too big. It's not so bad if it's still, but as soon as you start driving all those offcuts of logs start jiggling around, the FPS completely drops. So maybe a smaller trailer or limit how much you actually put in might be a bit better. So let's get this tipped up. There we go, that's all our nice split logs. And we'll get this sold. So there you go, 12,984 plus 1,007. There's a few bits in there as well that didn't come out. Is that everything? I think so. So actually we're another 971, so that's about 13,000 for about 4 trees, I think, or not even 4 fall trees. It was just the lower sections. After the first tree I did with 6, I tried all 3 pieces, and then I did the 5s, which I found the top bits of the 5s didn't really work very well. They kept disappearing, so I found doing them at 6 meters and just using the lower 2 parts of the tree, unless it's a fully grown spruce tree, then the lower 3 parts, and then leave the top section, as it's a little bit too narrow on the diameter to really make it work. But we're back up to 178,000. I think it's going to take quite a few more trees to cover the cost of the land, which is doable. It's just going to take time to obviously actually do it. Like with a lot of things with FS, if you spend enough time you can make a lot of money. But yeah, I am going to try and possibly get another trailer. I've got 1 log left on there, so I had to stop cutting because it was just getting far too laggy. So yeah, I might try doing 6 pieces, so that'll be 3 trees at most, and then we'll sell that. So I would like to try and at least get somewhere close to recovering our money that we've purchased for the land. But it's not a necessity, because obviously we can use this land in the future to cut more trees down if we replant some. So where's the... So sold wood is currently 13,955. So I think we're going to need to do... How much? The land was 75. So we need another 62,000. Which will be what, 4 or 5, maybe about six trailer loads to recoup that money. So yeah, I'm going to continue and we'll see how we get on, and see if we can recover. We've also got the top pieces as well to sell. So I'll keep stacking those up, and then we'll get those loaded up and we'll take those to the sawmill and just sell them as straight up lumber. Okay, so we are back to the sell point with load number 2. I think there's about 2.5 trees worth in this one, and at times this one did get a little bit laggy, but not as bad. I'll say there's 2.5 trees worth. There's a lot of logs that keep falling off the conveyor. We're starting to get a big pile up back in the forest as well. So if we get this, technically we don't really need to tip it. We'll just sell it straight in the trailer. Always looks good when they all come out though. There we go, that's a similar amount, so another 11,000 plus 800, what's that, 11,800, and nearly another 13,000. Make sure they are all gone. Let's get that back down. So I think we are making more money considering we're not selling in poultry. I'm pretty sure on normal economy for a fully grown spruce tree you get around about 3,500 at 6 meter lengths for 1 full tree. We're getting more than that just for the end 2 pieces of 1 tree. So yeah, I think it's taken a bit longer, but we are making more money than we would if we'd have just done straight up 6 meters. I will check as well. I'm pretty sure the wood chip price on this map is not very good. Yeah, it's only down in the low 200s, which I think is not worth the time to really do wood chips at all. It's definitely not silver on forest wood chip prices anyway, which are getting up to 1,000 per 1,000 litres for wood chips in the winter. The other thing I want to check, what is the actual wood price on this map? Where is the wood? Is there a wood sell price on here? I missed it. I'm sure it's usually here somewhere. It doesn't look like there's actually a wood price listed on the map. I presume it's going to be pretty much standard, which I think is around about 1,200. I can't actually see one on there. I did actually show the firewood price. No, I don't think that's listed either. Anyway, yeah, so we definitely won't be doing wood chips for the offcuts. We'll just load them up into... I mean, we might be able to fit them in this trailer. That way, when we don't need to buy the log stays for the Johnston, which saves us a couple of thousand. And we can get those over to the sawmill. So we've got, what, 26,000 I think we've made so far. So we're going to need a few more loads if we want to try and at least make back the money we've invested in the land. So next winter we should still have some trees to cut down, and we'll replant some more as well. Maybe in spring. As you can see, I've still got a few offcuts here and there. So yeah, there'll definitely be a few trees left. We won't need to clear all of them, so we'll still have some winter work to do next year as well. And we'll get some new trees planted, and that'll probably take a couple of years to fully grow. But that way then we'll get the fully grown spruce trees rather than these ones which are only 25.5 meters. So yeah, I'm going to continue getting another few loads sold. And then we'll start loading up the offcuts from the top of the trees which are not splitting up for firewood. Okay, so this should be the last couple of trees we need to clear to take us above what we paid for the land. Unfortunately, it took me a while to find out. I didn't realise that you could change the number of splits. And I found out that if you they split the logs into 2 pieces rather than 6, you earn quite a bit more money per load. So we've probably lost around about 800 to 1,000 for every tree we've done. We've earned like 800 to 1,000 pound more for each, like 2 bits off each tree. I think I worked out we was doing around about 3,500, 3,600 for the 2 pieces off one tree. So I was doing a bit of testing. I've changed it to 2 and took the 2 pieces from the 2 pieces, and we got around about 4,200-ish. So yeah, I reckon we've probably, over the course of all the trees we've done, we've probably lost a few thousand. But never mind, I know for next time. It was only when I had the help window open, I just noticed at the top. Because sometimes it doesn't show. You can actually, if you do plus on the numpad, do 2 pieces, 4 pieces and 6 pieces. And I found 2 pieces earned more money. And I think, apart from that one, oh no, we've still got 1 log left. Getting ahead of myself. So this should be the last log. Let's feed this one through. And get that cut and split. It's a slow process. I think you do earn a little bit more than if we'd have just taken these logs straight to the sawmill. Whether it's more than worth it for like how much more you get, I think it is, but it's just been slow. I've had to keep it on times 0.5 because it gets dark very early on this map, especially in the winter. The last few cuts, and then we'll take this up to the sell point. I've also found as well the 2 pieces don't lag out anywhere near as much as the split it into 6. There we go. It should be That will be the last piece if we can get it to drop in. Get that one split. And there we go. I think that should do us for trees. We've still got this big pile of logs that we'll get loaded up and take this to the sawmill, because these just don't cut up very well. I think the very top bits of it wouldn't accept them anyway, but these ones it would. But it just doesn't cut up, and I think you're just losing money. So we've cut down quite a few more trees than I thought we would. If you can have a look now, we're currently at 73,347 for sold wood, so we're only just below the cost of the land. So this load will definitely cover the cost of the purchasing the land and the leasing costs. So if we just go statistics, yeah, 22 trees. I really wasn't expecting you to have to cut down that many trees, to be honest. I thought this may have made a little bit more money than we have done from it. But I think last time I tried it, I was doing the fully grown spruce trees where the very bottom is so big compared to these. You probably earn more money just from that one bottom piece of a fully grown spruce tree than I'm getting off these two together. Well, that is another load. I've got a few bits to tidy up. I'll just chuck these end bits in, and any other small bits we can find, then we'll head up to the sawmill, the sell point, and get these sold. Okay, so this will be the last load of firewood we sell. So hopefully we should make a little bit more than we did on the last ones I did on camera anyway. Let's get that tipped up. Again, we don't need to tip it, but why is that? Nice to see some of the logs fall out. There we go. Lovely firewood. I'll actually get rid of that. Let's get rid of the interactive zone marker so I can get a screenshot. There we go. Let's get this sold. So it would help if I turn that on. So yeah, 15,017 and then 1,164, and that's everything sold. So yeah, a little bit more for that load than we was getting before. I don't know if it was quite as much. I can't remember like how many we was doing trees wise, but that's more than paid for the land and the lease of the equipment. So where are we? Completely forgot which page I was on now. Finances. Mind gone blank there. So 88,364 so far we've made from wood, and we've still got the offcuts to sell. So I don't think we'll get 12,000 for the offcuts. I think we may get like 5,000-6,000 for them. So that takes up above 90. So I don't think that's been too bad a day's work. So we've got more than enough to cover the land, which is one of the main things. So we're no worse off than we were before we purchased it. Oh, it's actually a little bit better off, but it would be nice to get the tree planter, so we can get a few trees planted as soon as possible so they can start growing. Because there's not many trees left in this area now. Yeah, I've definitely cut down the most of the trees. So next winter though, we won't have many trees to cut down, but we've already bought the land, so we don't need to have the cost for that. So we can just lease the wood processor again, and do a bit more firewood cutting next winter, and then the winter after that we should have some fully grown spruce trees to then cut down. So I'm going to get this dropped off. I'm going to put we'll buy the stanchions for the flatbed trailer. I think it's going to be a lot easier to use that for the logs than trying to put them in the tipper trailer. So we want forestry, and we'll buy this. What's that? 2,375. So there we go. I'll get this all onto the trailer and everything swapped over, and then we'll start loading up the offcuts of logs. Okay, so we've got the stanchions on, and we can start loading up some of these offcuts. If we park this up here, and what I will do actually before I forget is I will return this. Now we've finished with it. Get the trailer dropped off. Start getting some of these offcuts loaded up. I estimate we're going to get around about 4,000 or 5,000 for this load. That's a little bit extra. But it really wasn't worth putting those other pieces through the firewood processor. A lot of the time, half of the log would like disappear when it split it. I think it was just too small, and I've actually noticed there's a few bits that were left on the firewood processor that have now appeared. I'll get those sold as well. So yeah, we'll get this loaded up and we'll get these over to the sawmill, and we'll see how much we make for these. Okay, last few logs to load up. I must say I do really like this log grab. It's probably my favourite log grab in FS22 so far for the front loader. Does work very well. That's quite a stack of logs on there. Let's get those strapped down before we get them all over the place. It didn't look like when those on the ground, I didn't look like we was going to fill the trailer. But we've managed to fit them all on, and we've got that one, so we can just deal in that bit as we'll get a little bit more money for it. Pretty sure that's it. We'll just have a quick scare around if there's any other offcuts I've missed. Can't see any. And we've got these bits as well, which I don't think we'll be able to fit on. Might just leave those for next year. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. No doubt I've probably have missed one somewhere. You always tend to find some random log hiding in the bushes. Let's get this connected up. Now hoses and electrics connected, and yeah, we'll head over to the sawmill. Oh, the straps have come off. Which is, try and work out, it's over by, not quite by the garden centre. I think it's on the road next to it, isn't it? I think it's this one here. Yeah, so yeah, it's a bit of a trek. No, it's not too far. We're over, where are we currently? Yeah, we're here. So we'll have to go across this road, up across there, and then down that to the sawmill. Yeah, so it's not too bad. So yeah, we'll head over there, we'll get this sold. Be interesting to see how much we actually get for this load. Okay, so we are now at the sawmill, despite me driving straight past it just to turn around. Couldn't see it because it was blocked by that building. I couldn't actually see it, so I was trying to keep an eye out, and I thought, oh, it's a bit further down. Nope. I believe the sell point is round about here. And the trigger is somewhere, I think, if I can remember. There we go. So 12,034 plus 933 environmental score bonus. That's not too bad. It's a bit more than I was expecting anyway. So sold wood for today, we are 100,399. So we have actually broke 100,000 on income from sold wood. I could just see those silage bale contracts, how much they were worth. And then the silage of our room we sold last month, 74,000. So definitely silage is the way to go. Can get a bit repetitive though. So I think next job, what I'd like to do is lease the tree planter. I'll just get the one from Black Sheep Modding, which is fairly cheap. Get a pallet of saplings and get those planted so they can start growing. As the sooner we can get those in the ground, the sooner they'll be fully grown and ready to We cut down. Right, we're back down at this store, so we'll get the tree planter. Just going to double check nothing new's come up. I don't think we've really scrolled through much of the day. Always worth checking though. So forestry equipment, we're just going to lease this for 382 and then 157 for a workout. I don't think we'll be more than an hour. And then we need the pallets for it, which I don't know if this one just takes the standard base game pallets. I'm pretty sure it does. So if we go to pallets, we just want the standard tree saplings. There's that one. I will just double check if there's a different one that comes with that mod. Yeah, I think this one. I don't know if the other one will work. This one's got 50 trees in compared to base game one, which is 20. So an extra 30 trees. That's for an extra 100. 1500. Yeah, well, let's get one of those. I think 50 trees should be more than enough. Right, I think the best bet's going to be to come as close to this boundary as we can and then follow it along. So we'll put one right up in the corner. Oh, actually, there's one already there that's not quite on our land. So if we come forward a little bit, is that going at what degree? 265. So I'll lock in my enhanced vehicle control. And what we want to do is put spacing in of 10 meters, I think. So I'll increase that to 10. I'll get this switched on. I don't think we can change the spacing. It plants that anymore. I think it only ever does 10 meters with these. I don't think you can lower it like you could before. So I'll get that switched on. Lower it down. And there's our first sapling. Yeah, we'll get all 50 of these planted in this area so they can start growing, ready for us to cut down in a couple of years' time. Okay, so last 3 saplings. There's 2 more. I don't know if we'll quite fit them in with this other tree. 1 left. It's going to be a bit too close. There we go. So I think that actually worked out rather well, 50. Maybe we could have squeezed in a few more across this little bit. But I think 50 is a lot more than we cut down. I think we cut down 22, was it, in the end? So more than double what we cut down we've replanted. So yeah, trees cut down 22, trees planted 50. So we've got slightly more than a 2-for-1 ratio there. So yeah, I think these take around about 24 months to fully grow. So it's going to be winter year 3 before they're ready to be cut down. Although we could actually cut them down before they're fully grown in the same state they were. But we may as well leave them to get to their full growth stage and make the most of them. So we do have a few trees left as well. We can do some firewood next year as well. Next winter, something to do. Yeah, still quite a few actually. So it's not worked out too bad. We made some decent money. We've got more money than we started with anyway. And we've got almost enough to cover the next loan payment without having to worry. Which is currently... Where are we on the loan? So we've currently made 4 payments. So we're down to 937,565 left to pay off. So we're close to being below 900,000 soon. I'm probably going to be now. There's not really going to be much we can do January, February. So may skip through to March. because other than just feeding the sheep, I don't think there's much else we can do. And then we can come back in March and start getting our fields prepped, get the ploughing done, get lime spread if we need to, and then look at getting the crop sown, which I think we can actually do on this map in March. Yeah, so we'll be able to get our, well, if you want to do, no, we're not doing wheat, we're doing barley and oats. So yeah, we'll have 2 months to get the barley and oats sown, and then we can have a look at what else needs doing. So yeah, we'll probably be back in March. So I hope you have enjoyed this episode. If you have, then please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Really do appreciate it. And if you're not yet subscribed to the channel, then please do consider subscribing. We've got more Farm Simulator 22 content coming up for this series, the time-lapse series, and also the live streams as well. So again, a big thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you again. Goodbye.